Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Roll For It. I know we've been away for a long time. The main campaign hasn't sat here in a while. We finally have everyone again. It's so nice to have our table full. Stop that.
It's been 80 years.
It's been a couple months.
Anyways, so before we start our recap, we're just gonna go around real quickly saying hi.
Hi, I'm Matt, and I'm playing Wolfgang.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I'm playing Igor.
Hi, I'm Wayne. I am playing Saren.
I'm Hillary. I'm Karina.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm playing Joppa.
Hey, I'm Megan. I'm playing Frost.
And I'm your DM, and that's all you need to know about me.
The nameless DM.
Damn straight. So here we go for our recap. Last time we got together, our party had gone through Gelthic, a small town that was under its own series of crises. They helped restore their clock tower, which served as a summoning device to summon spiritual guardians to protect the town. Also lit the pathways from Gelthic to Quollin and from Gelthic to Califer. Having been restored, it seemed as if the town came back to life, buildings rebuilt, people no longer crazy, and everything seemed real good. Upon arriving in Quollin, they got some shocks for their wagon, and essentially just went to the magic shop, met Giuseppe, who pulled a knife on them after they
Hold on.
Wolfgang. After Wolfgang pulled up a fireball, turns out Giuseppe had been. There was an attempted robbery of his store, so he doesn't like magic. His store is the Helmbreaker. Its motto is: if we don't have something that'll break your bank, you get something for free. And I think that's where we're gonna jump in.
Sounds like you don't have a bank to break.
That just sounds like a terrible motto.
Well, everything's very high priced, so.
We noticed.
We remember.
So it's about 2:00. You guys are outside of the Helmbreaker. What do you guys do?
I think we might want to look a little bit more around the town. I want to go figure out who this was that was possibly in this shop. Any local guards around or anything?
Oh wait, real quick, because I remember I didn't get to it when we entered Quollin the first time. So it's just a brief description of Quollin. It's a very well-known fishing town on the end of one of the many branches of streams, or they're technically rivers. Of this large body of water. There are some buildings built into the water, so like platform buildings on the water. And there are several high-rise plateaus, which have what look like fancier buildings. These plateaus cast shadows on some of the lower buildings, leaving them in shadow for like 80% of the day, 90% of the day, all of the day, depending on where the buildings are placed. So kind of like a high-rise. The higher you go up, the more rich people
like a
are.
tiered river city.
Yeah,
It's a horse.
basically. Anyway, so you guys
So
would
are
like
there
to look for guards.
Are there anybody who seems to would know of local activities?
Place seems to
So
be
roll me a perception check first.
Place seems to be a little bit more structured than the
Is that
last.
my perception?
Yeah.
You're looking for people.
Perception.
Well, I have advantage on perception, so
That's a
I'm going to take
6.
20. 20. Natural 20.
17.
What was it?
Perception.
That would be 20.
Okay. All right.
Boy, married couple over here is just having a wonderful time.
Karina and Joppa, you don't really see a lot of people around. You know, there were a couple of
Walking
people.
around with our eyes closed.
Basically, like you can hear them,
Tourists.
but like you turn around. As you turn, no one's there. But your party members see them walk right past you as you turn around. For everyone else, it seems that there's a large gathering at what looks like to be some kind of governmental building. Very tall steeple with a bell in it. It's not a church. It just looks like it should be a church, which means it may have been a church in the past, but it isn't one now.
Hey, what's going on over there? Look at all those people.
So what are you guys doing?
I don't know if it's going on.
Oh,
Notice anything? Sorry. No, not really.
How are you allowed to, or are we walking in the opposite direction?
So
I'll grab them both and turn them around.
We're We just like put a hand on their backs and like this way.
This way, guys, over
Come
here.
along, children.
Okay.
Keep with this party.
So you, as you get closer to this crowd of people, it sounds a little more like a mob. You can't really discern what they're saying because they're all screaming kind of in unison. It's kind of
Angry
impressive.
shouts. By mob, you mean?
Very angry shouts.
I like
They're calling for the mayor to come out and deal with the issue that they're having. Again, you can't really make out many of their words because, again, they're very impressively screaming in unison.
Could we try asking somebody on the outskirts?
What's
Closer
closer?
to hear what they're
You can try. It's just
Well, it's a cacophony right now.
Yeah,
We're
it's
having
just-
trouble hearing.
a lot of people are saying this different things, but at the
Basically-
same
It's like
time.
blurbing
Basically a rabble situation.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
A hefty elven woman comes out on top of these steps, and she kind of puts her hands up, and the crowd starts dying down. And she's going, "We are doing our best to find some way to fix the issue. We're not quite sure what's even going on out there. I understand that our livelihoods are at stake here, but you must understand that it is expensive to do what we have to do, which is getting any number of adventurers or warriors or anyone, even the Queen's battle dolls. It's a hefty endeavor, and no one's ships really want to go out onto the lake. If someone would like to volunteer their boat, we'd more than happy to compensate them heavily. But until further notice, I need you all to disperse." And she just like walks inside the building again. No, you can tell no one's satisfied with that answer, as they just kind of walk away, kind of slowly.
We're not very satisfied with it either. It didn't tell us
Anything at all.
It just tells
You
us
go
we
and
need a
ask her.
boat.
We
well,
are, given how nobody was let in and there was a
Tied up,
angry mob there for
well,
them, and I don't think anybody's
done
going to get in
things.
very easily.
Is there anyone walking to a tavern?
We can go see if they can provide
Anyone
a boat,
walking to a
but,
tavern?
I mean, we don't have one.
I can make a
Yeah, there's a couple people
Make
walking
a-
into it.
I
We'll
can
just
make
like
a boat.
walk there, thinking I could buy some
Alright.
snacks.
So you walk, Frost, you walk over to the tavern. It's called the Skipping Lure, like a fish lure.
Thank you.
Hey, pun.
I got
As you walk inside, it's very busy. It's bustling. A lot of people of all races. A majority of them are human, I will say. You notice a waitress. Got a lot of like glasses on her thing. Yeah, basically, she's walking around. And you notice one of the other a male patron, a bigger buff guy, tries to grab at her dress. She whips out a wand and blasts him in the face. And she goes,
gangsters in here.
and she goes, "Read the sign, you ungrateful maggot." And there's a sign just to the right of you, like hanging, and it says, "Any unwanted touching will result in a blast to the face."
Straight to the point.
This guy is on the ground.
Honest advertising.
As she walks forward into the back room. And you go inside. There's not really a lot of seats. You can try to sit at one of these open tables if you wanted to. You could try to squeeze in at the bar, but there are no booths.
Okay. I'll go up to the bar.
So you go up to the bar and you notice that woman you saw earlier. Very pale, a slim build, long brown hair, and a long brown dress with a dark blue bandana wrapped around her head, Rosie the Riveter style. She puts down a couple of clean glasses and goes, "Oh, what can I do you for?"
Hi, I was wondering, do you have any specialties for this area for drinks?
Well, we do have a couple of specialties. We don't make it here, I will tell you, but we do. It's one of our more popular brands of drink. It's called Oathbreaker. I'm not sure if you know what Oathbreaker is.
No, I'll be intrigued to know. Just let me know. I'm just passing
So
by.
Oathbreaker is one of our better sellers, as oftentimes you only buy Oathbreaker when someone has been unfaithful in a marriage, which around here happens quite so often.
It's special.
So obviously it is not the person who is cheating, but rather the person who is getting cheated on who buys the Oathbreaker. It's a rather sweet ale.
Sweet to cover that bitterness deep down inside.
Yes. We also have Dragonborn's Bane and Blue Dream. Both of those are also very well liked and enjoyed.
I think I'll try the Oathbreaker. So when I order it, can I see if anyone else is getting the same drink?
Okay. Give me a perception check. What are the rest of you guys doing?
Are we in Tavern Winter?
No.
Can
we?
I want to ask about this job.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Alright, then
Whatever you're
we'll,
doing.
we'll get to you guys in
Yeah,
just
I'm
one
getting
moment.
drunk.
1 second.
Of course.
Can we look around? Where is the mob dispersing? at
Yeah,
all?
they're like gone. It's been a couple
I thought
minutes.
it's 12.
Almost every other like guy in here is drinking liquor.
What's the most depressed looking one?
God.
There's a guy
This is
who's
how it
sitting in a
starts.
booth. There's a guy sitting in a booth in not like the far back, but like kind of in the middle of the wall. He's not alone. There are some other guys there, but they're like passed out as he's pouring himself another cup. There are 4 bottles on the table.
Is there any room for me to come by?
I mean, if you wanted to push one of those guys out of the booth, there could be.
How drunk is he at this point?
Give me an insight check.
That one's and that one's and that one.
You know, you look at him, looks like he's too damn sober.
Too damn sober.
Too damn sober.
Can I walk toward him anyway and tell him what's his story?
Yeah, you walk up to him and you ask him about his story. He kind of just tells you it's his 3rd marriage that's gone awry. They keep leaving. They don't say why. They just like get up and like in the middle of the night,
And just leave.
take all the stuff in his house and luckily he's not the poorest man in the world. He is one of the many sons of one of the higher echelon people in this fair town.
Am I the only one getting the message that there is clearly just like an underground band of them warrior thieves marrying men and robbing them blind?
Either that or it's the same one using an illusion.
Well, this is only Frost.
I know.
Frost,
I know.
anything else you'd like to
I'm
do?
commenting.
I mean, does he seem to like me pretty much at this point, or he's just telling me passively?
He's kind of just like talking to you because you're the only one awake that's listening.
Okay.
Where are you going with this thing?
Date rape, date rape.
She's getting a
Can
new
I
friend,
offer to
that's
buy
all.
him more?
Hide the red rocket.
Yeah.
I
It's
get
gonna
him
be 2
2 more
silver
bottles.
pieces.
I get him
Oh,
2 more bottles.
So 4 silver pieces.
Okay, 4 silver pieces.
And this man, you now know he is drunk off his rocker. As he tries to get up, but you're sitting like right next to him, and he trips over you.
Can I pick him
Meg,
up?
make me a dexterity check.
A dexterity check?
Puke.
Would it be a save or just
No, just a
dex?
check.
13?
So a small crest-esque piece of metal falls out of his pocket and kind of lands on the table, and like as it does, you kind of grab it instinctually and pull it back to you. As this man gets up and he drunkenly walks out the door.
So he doesn't notice at all that I did it?
No.
Does he just leave the 2 bottles that I got for him?
No, he has the bottles. He just walked out with the bottles.
Can I see what it is that I
He
picked
just
up?
doesn't give a
Now
shit.
that
So
he's
you
alive?
look at the crest. It seems to be. So it's like the basic shield-esque style crest. There is what looks like a wolf and a very large tree imagery on it. The wolf in like a howling position.
Okay. I'm probably gonna touch him.
I was gonna say any one of us that can use the identify spell, maybe.
You have message, right?
Yes.
Can I message you and tell you what I found?
The person doesn't have to have.
I mean,
If-
I'm the
if
only
you
person
have-
in the tavern.
Yeah, but if you have message, you can message anybody.
Anybody.
They can respond.
Okay. I'll just broadcast it. Hey guys, I just stole this. What does this mean?
Wow, Frost.
So
has gone
then
for
we're gonna
5
get
minutes
to-
and stole something.
We're gonna get back to this in just a
Okay.
moment.
Messages in my head now.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten a message in my head yet. I'm probably out here in this crowd like,
So it's Karina, Joppa, Igor, and Wolfgang that are congregating to the town hall.
Yes.
yes.
So you 4 open up into the town hall, and it is a wreck. People are running around. There are papers, like people are running with stacks of papers trying to get them to different places. That hefty elven woman you saw earlier, you can hear, "No, those go over there. Bring that to the department over there." She's trying to direct people, but people are colliding with each other. They are not paying attention. They are panicked, more or less. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna quickly
Go
just
I'm
change my turn so it looks
like
like fucking plate mail.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna choose my proficiencies. So.
All right, choose your proficiencies. You don't have to tell me.
I know, but I just want to tell you I'm changing.
So you guys walk up to this woman, and she goes, "Not now. I cannot handle all these things that are. Who knew what happened when I got elected? Fuck, it's only been 2 weeks, and yet some crisis has to show up." She pinches the bridge of her nose, and she goes, "Maybe I should just resign." She looks over at you. Goes, "Oh, I apologize. I don't recognize you. You must be new. The last couple of weeks, there has been a number of, how shall we say, incidents on the lake. As you can imagine, as we are a large fishing town, this does hamper our ability to do our trade. And with Califer no longer being able to trade with us, and Hurricane no longer being able to get us any more metals, it seems that we may be dead in the water for the time being.
Why is it that they can't get...
Since you're here. Califer was attacked.
Incidents, I think.
Califer was attacked. Several large spider creatures and a large number of undead overran their numbers. Hurricane was attacked by another unknown creature. We've yet to identify.
Didn't we just come from Calicut?
Yeah, that was like 2 weeks ago.
And they just got attacked again?
No, they just got attacked 2 weeks ago. After you left.
Yeah, it happens.
So we're undersupplied in both food, materials, and just about everything else. Our people aren't the best lumberjacks as you may imagine, as we're all trained to, or most of us are trained to go out on the water. So really getting wood to replace the boats is a bit of a hassle. We also don't have the metal or the money to buy axes or make axes for everyone, so it's kind of an issue.
So you just need to transport across the water.
We need to be able to get into the lake and bring a hull back out of the lake.
What's been preventing you from being able to access the
Something's
lake?
been destroying a couple of the boats out there.
Anyone been able to report back on what it is?
No one's got a very clear shot of what it could be. The only person that had come back and said they knew what it was, well, he's sleeping with the fishes.
What? Why?
Do we
Another
mean
thing we
literally
have to
sleeping with the
investigate.
fishes, or is he just an amphibious race?
No, he is
Oh my
dead.
god.
He is actually dead.
It happens.
About 2 hours after he came back, he was murdered. And again, resources are going to investigate his murder, but I honestly have too many things in my plate.
Yeah, I really have no idea how to help you, really. We don't have a boat.
Have you considered
Well-
hiring an assistant?
Not a boat big enough.
I have
I
5
can make-
assistants. And,
I can make any object. I can make a boat.
How long
Make
would
a
it
boat.
take
How
to
do
make a
you
boat?
make a boat?
It just happens.
about 15 seconds.
Yeah,
What?
15 seconds. I'll make a big boat.
Spell.
My armor.
Suddenly there's a
Oh.
galley in the middle of the lake.
That works too.
So what are you guys doing?
Problem.
Well, we can either take up this merchanting mission and
I
then
think
probably
there's-
get killed by some kind of monster in the legs, or
We can at least
open up the trade routes and go get killed by a horde of monsters that have caused them.
What do we think?
Those are our options.
Fight
right?
on the water or
So-
fight on the roads? Are those the
I
two
mean, you're
options?
backtracking if you're going to go fight the monsters.
Yeah.
I don't want to backtrack.
Oh, yeah.
So we can just help
that
them
one
I
was-
trade
mean,
that
across
one
the
was
it's
water.
just a matter of do we want to help these people?
Do we want, if we make an offer to them to help with the seafaring routes, maybe we can ask them to.
Oh, it's
give
just a
some
big
little-
lake. It's not the sea.
Well, you know what I mean, water carrying routes. Maybe we can ask them to give us some small scale backup? For lack of a better word, cannon fodder in case things go south.
Do you happen to have cannons lying around?
A little too literal, but okay.
We have an old galleon with a couple of old cannons. They need a bit of maintenance, but if you're willing to do it, that's more than fine for me.
That's more than we started with. See, there you go. You wanted firepower? We got cannons.
Okay.
Are you
What
are
do
you
we
offering to take up this
Technically-
position?
What
if
would we
that's-
get in return for taking up this job?
Well, I've afforded. She looks over at one of the many people who just stops running and drops all his paper, and he pulls out like an abacus, shows it up real quick, and puts it down. We can afford you and your party a total sum of 4,000 gold. That's about it.
Can we start with that and then negotiate depending on what this mysterious thing is that's terrorizing?
Well, I don't have all that much money right now. I will tell you,
Negotiating is more than money.
supposedly, there is a castle in the middle of the lake where many of the ships are going.
Ah.
We will afford you potions of water walking and potions of water breathing. If you so choose to take up this request of ours, if there is a castle down, if you get rid of whatever the creature is, feel free to take whatever you want from it.
So the castle's
I
in the
like
middle
that.
of the lake?
Yes, originally the lake wasn't this big, but an event in history caused the castle to sink into the lake, and the lake to overflow.
As one does.
As one does. What?
As a lake does, yes, overflow.
Alright, I also want to ask her, I know she's very busy, I know, but we've been walking around town and we've heard word of at least a couple of people attempting to rob a shop wearing masks. I'm wondering if you knew anything about this.
Yes,
There's a lot of people trying to rob a lot of people here right now. You have to be a little more
the
specific.
strange little gnomish man.
Oh,
running the
Giuseppe.
expensive magic shop. The road man.
Yes.
Giuseppe, he's made a lot of enemies in his time.
I can't imagine why.
He's a very good businessman, but apart from that, not very good at many other things.
What has all the theft going on? Any causes?
Typical looting, but chaos is selling people take advantage.
It's a little bit of that. There's a bit of panic, as it seems that many of these cities closest to the capital are being attacked, under siege. Something terrible has happened to them. A lot of people are fearing that this is what is happening here. So there's a little bit of paranoia. The other day, a young man was calling it is the end of the world, and jumped from one of the high-rise plateaus.
Okay, I do not feel comfortable with adding to this trouble in the world by just robbing this poor noble of anything. No.
Are you saying that out
I don't
loud?
care
Are you
what
saying-
time
Are you saying that as in character?
No, I'm not saying that in character.
Okay.
I'm just saying in general.
So is there any other help that you guys need good housekeeping, sort of around the town? Sounds like you guys are in a bit of dire straits.
Well, if you don't mind doing a few odd jobs, I would personally be very happy to offer them to you. They don't have a lot of money to offer you, like I said. If you do this job to help us with our lake issue, you'd be getting a majority of, basically 90% of what we have right now. But there are a couple of things that if you would be so kind to help out with, if I remember correctly, Javier, he's a few buildings from here. He was looking for someone to help him move, we'll say, less than stable compounds. But that's his
Just a
business.
smear on the wall in the shape of a person.
In addition, I think some of the dock workers, some items from them have gone missing. So if you would like to help them locate them, that is more than fine by me as well. Very helpful as it would get them off my back. I cannot afford to send 3 people to go down and look for their items when this crisis is happening.
I say we just take on this lake.
Yeah, do we want to take up the job, or do we want to try to help the town out a
I
little first?
think we should take on the big job, and then when we're done, we can take care of the small stuff.
You're the
Yeah.
one that knows about doing your boat.
Yeah.
It'll be the first time I'm doing it, Igor. So it'll be very bad.
The situation that they offered up the galleon and the cannon, wouldn't we need some sort of logistics for that, a crew to operate it?
There's 6 of us. No, we're
What do you
not.
mean?
I was.
If
I don't know.
we're gonna
No.
be
We're
a
just
standard vanguard.
We're just gonna take the cannons.
Would you guys
Just
be
the
able to
cannons? Yeah.
afford any sort of crew to operate
We could
any
figure out
sort
how
of
to use
ship?
the cannon.
We would be.
Yeah, but like if
Uh,
something,
I'm sure if you
God
assist
forbid,
them
does
down
go
there,
down,
that they'd be more
we're
than
on
happy
the
to
front
help.
line. There's nobody to operate.
Guys, so if we help the dock workers
Well,
out a
we're gonna be on
little,
the front lines in the
sounds
war.
like we could get them to help us with running a galleon ship for the big job.
No, they don't have a galleon to give us. They have cannons to let us use.
I'm making the galleon.
But if we want
Is there a
to
size limit on what he can make out of this? A
Not
galleon's a big ship.
It
Not
says,
technically.
it says I can make any object I want.
Sloop it.
do we think we will need deckhands to help operate whatever sort of ship
Powerful
we try?
magic.
I feel that it would be a
created.
boon to have some form of help in that.
Okay, so if we go down and see if we can help out the dock workers, we'll probably get them to help us maintaining a ship as we go after the big hunt.
I think that's a good course.
Okay.
But it's about 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
We'll help them out, we'll rest, and we'll
Yeah, I
set
know.
sail in the morning.
Okay.
Well, things are going missing. Nighttime is
We're gonna
not
move
nighttime.
back to Frost and Saren. Presumably
Yeah.
you guys have met up, and you show Saren the shield crest. Correct?
History check.
Yeah, give me a history check. 24. What you've read in history is that a large number of families that just at the beginning of the age of the kingdom, a large number of families who had hunted the Vulcans actually settled here. This is one of these noble, quote unquote, noble families that had done so. They live basically mostly off the prestige of they've done something that no one else has done, and they are all every couple generations they are pretty good people, but for the most part they're all assholes. But they're also a little paranoid and a tad bit eccentric, collecting various rare aquatic life.
So I tell that to Frost. I relay the history of these people.
Just a bunch of assholes.
Old
So,
blood is like that. Well,
Pretty much most of them are gonna be like that anyway.
so what are you guys doing? Saren and Frost, are you guys gonna head back
where
with
exactly did you find this coat of arms?
I made a guy really drunk and I took it.
As it were.
Yeah,
Okay.
he said he has lost 3 wives and I wanted to know his story, but he just ended up dropping that. So
You lost 3 wives and failed a heirloom by the looks of it.
pretty much. Do you think we can do anything about the press? Maybe try talking to them, blackmail them. Interesting.
Well, if you want to begin something, I'll help you out. It's cost.
Do you think they would want this back?
More than likely,
How much do you think it costs?
what I think it costs.
250
With
gold? 250.
with sentimental value, would it increase?
No.
No.
This looks like it's probably a mass-produced crest for them to wear. They
Like,
have
you
it on
know,
their
like
clothes.
brooches
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Okay.
they probably have at least 5 of them on hand at all times.
Get it back 250.
Should I just sell it, or should we try giving it back to the guy?
It's up to you. You can say that you found it.
Or I could just say he dropped it on his way out.
Finder's fee
He
usually are
basically
higher.
kind of did it anyway. I just picked it up. I ask you guys, want me to sell it, or do you want me to
We're
give it
not
back?
with you.
You haven't
It's
gotten
just you
it
and me.
together.
I can message.
It's just you and me right now.
No,
We have no idea what you're talking about.
no, true. Okay. Where are you guys?
You're having
actually?
no. It doesn't matter. You're having your own story. You're having
These
your
two
own
were kind of
You're doing your own thing. This is your own thing here. We're not part of this.
Okay. Alright.
So what are you guys doing? Are you guys gonna meet up with the group again? Are you guys gonna walk around town a little bit? There's some nice sights in Fallen, especially from the high rises.
Eventually, I gotta meet up with her because I gotta grab some supplies from her.
I'd say to Frost that let's take a look around, see what else we can find.
All right.
I wanna find the guy with the.
I'd suggest that we go to the higher rewards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is the town just straight offering us
Miss on
cannons,
something good.
or do we have to go collect them?
You have to collect them
I
and you
know
have
how
to
you
fix them.
operate.
So I'll- What?
Okay, you guys are strong. Go get the cannons.
Yeah, we'll go talk to the
I'm sure you guys.
Cannons.
Do either of you have experience in metallurgy?
That's a weird skill.
It's just a little rust. You're not even here.
No, I was asking them outside.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go off with Igor and Wolf, who are going to meet Haver. You go a couple of buildings down, and it is unlike many of the other buildings here are full wood. Maybe some stone built in there. This is just a big metal box, like a huge metal square with a door.
Lovely craftsmanship.
It's a Minecraft
As you get
house.
closer, you kind of hear like every couple of seconds, and then as you get to the door, boom, something smacks against the metal wall.
I just look at Igor before we even walk in and like, I think I'm gonna like this guy.
This is gonna be a lot of fun, or we might die.
In for a copper.
When we find out.
You guys knock on the door. Is that what you're doing?
Yep.
So you knock on the door, doom, 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 and you hear, "Just a minute, I'm naked in here."
Science in the fuck, as God intended.
It reduces the stack, okay?
Like 2 minutes pass, and all you're hearing is him grunting and griffing as he's doing God knows what. And he finally opens the door, and he's like barely clothed in like the shoddiest of bathrobes. It has holes basically all
I like your style.
over. He's a pretty old Triton fellow, like a greenish blue skin tone, and he just kind of, what are you doing here?
We were told.
Wait a second, I
You're
know. You're
being
after my
ignored.
inventions, aren't you?
No inventions.
Liar! I knew it. You knew about the moon along.
You just told me about it.
What are you talking?
What are you talking about?
He goes over to Wolf real briefly, puts his hand to his mouth. I'd be wary of this one. He kind of shrinks back into
Is
his
he
house.
looking directly at me? Like, is this guy
No,
just
he's
blind?
like he was looking at Igor the entire time.
Okay. He's like, he knows I'm a 6.5 foot tall dragon man, right? I'm the one he tells to be weary of others.
Josh, you're
Absolutely.
Real quick, give me a perception check, guys.
See whether or not this man falls off the wall bonkers. It's gonna be a 7.
This man is actually blind.
Oh! Was that just a really low check?
No, he's actually blind.
Okay.
You can see the fog in his eyes.
I'm just gonna like that in front of his face, just see if he reacts.
Nothing happens.
Yeah, he's blind.
And he goes, "Oh, what a nice breeze out here." He's also like inside his house now, where like no breeze could actually get to him.
Sir, we were told by the head of the town that you had some difficult stuff needed hand with out here, something about unstable components.
Oh, Selena finally got someone to help me out with that. Oh, come in.
Honestly, the most unstable thing here is him.
As you come,
We don't
Go
know.
take care of my grandpa.
We don't know what caused that explosion yet.
as you walk inside, it is as there are large gears moving. It's so clockwork, everything. Like he is some kind of automaton thing doing something just about everywhere in this building. In this, we'll call it a 20 by 20 square.
Stunning. How'd you get all this?
I don't know what you're talking about. As he hands in the air, trying to feel his way through.
I just like put a hand on his shoulder, like this is gonna cut down on a lot of time.
Oh, God.
Continue.
He leads you to what you presume, the back left of his building. And there are a couple of chests, wooden chests with some reinforced steel. And he tells you, I just need these components taken care of. Get rid of them. Preferably without some of the shadier figures in town seeing.
What can you tell us about?
And I mean those drow, by the way. I don't know if that came out clear enough.
No, we understand.
Okay.
What's in them?
Don't.
Go ahead and look. And
What?
once you open them up, it is like 100 or so small gears. Each one, they're not made out of metal. It seems as if they're probably made of glass, and each one is a slightly different color. As you pick up these gears and hold them from where the circle, where the hollow part is, they kind of just start to turn on them.
I've seen kids play with toys like these once.
So they just look like little dynamo toys.
Yeah, basically.
Genius.
He goes, just be very careful with them.
What?
Their prototypes are exclusive. Get rid of them, preferably not here or around the town.
What can you tell us about how you made these? They
I
just seem to
can't
be
tell you
little-
how I made these, because I cannot see how I made them.
Can I check around his shop, see what else he has strewn about
Yeah,
here
give me
that
a
might be
perception check.
dangerous?
I'm gonna assist him.
So, first of all, I'm thinking clearly we should get these chests and we use this against the monster.
It will whatever's out.
Chuck explosives at them.
If it doesn't happen elsewhere.
Take them up, get a wrist rocket,
Yeah,
and we'll straight up Stranger Things this bitch.
yeah, that's basically what I was thinking.
But give me a perception check.
He said about 100. Perception is gonna be a 19.
A 9er.
There are a few, what you know to be very common magic conduits. Very simple things that any practitioner in the mystic arts would probably have with them. Crystal balls and such, staves. You do notice something laying across on a workbench that does intrigue you.
I'm gonna sneak over to him.
Give me a stealth
Because
check.
because yeah, so he's blind, so his hearing is fucking amazing.
Give me a stealth check at advantage.
Partly deaf.
I'm still just over with this old man by the chest of, what are we calling
God,
these?
no.
Glass bombs?
15.
Glass envelopes. 15. As you take a step, he does like a 360, so he's like facing back where he was, and he goes, "Hey,
What did you roll?
hold up! If you want me to give you a tour, I'd love to do so. But please hold.
Oh, okay, yeah, no. We would love to try and help you getting rid of these little trinkets. Is there anything else we need to know handling them?
Are they sensitive to shock or heat or?
It's just these crates here, right?
It's just those two chests worth. I would say don't jingle them around too much. If they hit each other, they might explode on their own.
How do they trigger?
How'd you get them
And
in
are
here?
they supposed to be?
Very carefully.
Are they supposed to be explosives?
No,
What are they supposed to do?
they're supposed to help focus arcane energies into a more orderly fashion.
Would they? I'm just hypothesizing. So they would go inside the automatons to help them function better.
No. I would intention them
They're
to be
magic
self.
focuses.
Yes,
They're
but
focal lenses for magical energy.
but better than your average arcane focus.
Have you perfected any?
If I perfected any, would I be living in this house?
Maybe.
We
Yes, I
genuinely
would be,
can't
but
tell,
no,
yeah.
I have not perfected any.
Okay.
So right now they just sort of prematurely detonate.
Yes, because
Okay.
I don't have the right materials to make them strong.
What would you need?
Do you by any chance? And he's not looking at you, Igor. He's like looking at the wall. By any chance, you don't have any mithril?
No, just no. Technically, you could make them out with mithril.
I probably.
I'm not saying that out loud, but
Is there a limit to the number of things I can make?
With your tunic, it has to be something you're proficient in.
So if I make a
proficient
mineral,
in
I need to
mountain
be
piercing.
proficient in nature.
You would know if you cannot make a mineral because it would not be something you can be proficient. Identification of a mineral, you would be proficient in nature for.
Fair enough. I
Okay.
can make that.
so all right. So bearing that in mind, like okay, yeah, we'll help. We'll try and help get these crates out of your way. Can you show us around your shop? Maybe show us some of the other things.
Of
you
course,
got
and
here.
he snaps his finger, and a chair lifts him up off the ground.
What?
And he kind of zips over to the center of the room, and 3 sections of a rounded wall come. And on the inside where he's sitting, it's just 3 very large chalkboards. He doesn't quite use chalk. He uses just really big rocks and just scrapes against the chalkboards.
Oh, that sounds.
Yeah, it sucks a lot.
Well,
He doesn't. There's the clue. He doesn't know he's writing. And he goes, this is where I do all my planning. As you can tell, it's very organized. And it is actually somehow very organized. That this man who cannot see has organized all his notes very well, and they're labeled on the top and date.
You fascinate me.
He goes, before I lost my sight, I was different.
You gonna elaborate on that?
yeah.
No, I don't think I quite need. Before I lost my sight, I was very organized and able to see things.
Okay.
So given that, can I see a point in his notes where he went blind? Because if he went
for
blind, then
For
it
sure,
become
you
very
can
messy.
see it's like his notes range from like 2 years ago, and as you're going through, it's like it's not day by day, it's more like month by month, and after like 4 months from when he started, it just kind of deteriorates, gets messier
Okay.
and messier.
So it looks like a natural blindness, not like blindness by like flash or like.
Maybe.
All right.
You watch the nukes. Never watch the nukes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what else do you got around here? We've seen the automatons you got putzing around. Your little explosive chests. Gotta be mindful around those.
He takes you over to like the far wall. It's pretty plain in here, where you do see these gears that are moving, but there are no like separate rooms. And he leads you to the back wall, and he points out to something. He goes, "This is my bed. It is where I don't sleep at.
Okay.
Don't sleep. Where do you sleep?
I would like to sleep in my bed, but I can't anymore
Why don't you sleep, sir?
because I have insomnia."
First night every day.
You're not here.
He is,
Because he's blind, so all he sees
blind,
is
yeah.
black.
When we're done, I could give you something you can sleep, maybe.
I don't take any non-natural supplements. I apologize.
Magic's natural.
Essential oils.
It's literally called supernatural.
Yeah, it's supernatural. It's like one of those superfoods they talk about, that heralds talk about. It's supernatural.
Oh my god.
We'll talk about that later.
Okay.
Is magic loaded with antioxidants?
Yes.
For
sure.
Abjuration is.
He shows you to what looks like just a closet, but as he opens it up, it is a staircase. He goes, down there are the inner workings for my mechanisms that run up here. I'm sure you don't want to see that.
What do you tend to make? We've seen the focuses that you haven't figured out, but you do a lot here, don't you, old man?
Well, I helped make the first boats out here. Originally, the steam powered boats when we were getting them over. Converting that into ambient magically powered boats. So I used to do that when I could see. In my younger days, I was a bit of an adventurer myself. But in more recent months, I live in this house.
Just like the gypsy woman said. Alright,
I think we should take care of
yeah, I
the
think we
job.
should just take care of the job and
And then if we need to, we
Alright,
can come back.
if we need to be careful moving these,
Do you have a padded box or something?
I was gonna ask Saren, I know you got like a whole bag of holding situation going on with some of your gear.
Saren's
Are
not
you-
even with you.
But
He's brainstorming with me
Yeah, I'm
about
just
putting it in Saren's
brainstorming.
cloak.
Are you able, like, safely, like, if we got you here, would you be able to safely transport
If
me
you
to
had a bomb go off in your bag of holding.
I don't have a bag of holding. I have
Your cloak
weight
holding.
close in
Many
those pockets.
So that doesn't necessarily make it safer. That kind of turns into a suicide vest, if I'm not mistaken.
If you want me to run into a building a la Aqua, I can do that. But
Okay,
that's
so
probably
that's
the only thing that'll happen with that.
Yeah.
wishing a prayer that we can carry these. How heavy are these boxes?
They're pretty light. They're like
Okay, yeah,
maybe 15 pounds.
let's just take the boxes.
Yeah. fair
Is
enough.
there
Wait,
a way
is that-
that they could be suspended with magic?
Probably.
So, like, just sort of like a cushion.
I mean, you could definitely try. You would have to make an Arcana check for that. But
Do we want to just carry? Would we have to make any sort of a check to safely carry
Probably
these things
not.
down to
Like,
where we
if
want
they
to
want to
go?
Always
confirm
hold
with me
the
later,
contract.
I can
Yeah, let's-
probably
yeah.
give them some sort of an answer.
Let's just get the boxes. Wish this guy a nice day and
Where are we
hopefully a
gonna
good
put
evening. We're heading on down to the shore to do all the business with the cannons and the boat, right?
I haven't made the boat yet.
We
can sleep on the
where
boat.
the boat will be.
We'll sleep on the boat.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
So, is there any last bit of information we need to know before we take these crates off your hands?
he wobbles
Don't
over
die.
to a desk. The same desk that you saw that item.
My friend, what is this?
He places his hand on it. This belonged to my brother.
And?
I don't know what you mean. It belonged to my brother. He's dead now.
What was this guy's name?
Haber.
Haber.
Coleman?
He's not gonna. He isn't told you.
Okay.
Is that the same name that we heard at the town hall?
Yeah, he's the guy with the dangerous chemicals. He kind of picks up the sword, and as he picks up the sword,
What's a sword?
yeah, it's a sword.
Oh, okay.
As he picks it up, you can see the fog dissipates from his eyes, and he looks at you. Like you can tell he's looking at you.
Oh, you can see me now.
This sword allows me to see once an hour. I know that sounds kind of shitty, but it works when I need to do something important. He puts it down, and his eyes fog.
If you steal that, I'm going to kill you.
No, he clearly
Okay.
needs it.
But he picks up a key and he hands it to you. Just when you're taking the Mount Locket, these chests aren't quite made for withstanding all these explosives, but it should blunt the blast a bit.
That is, I guess, the most reassuring we're going to get out of
Thank you.
What was your name, by the way?
I'm out here, Steelstead.
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 Why is stead such a common suffix in this country?
Just this.
I love stead. I love adding it to things. That's why.
Okay, thank you. I
Does
take the key.
the last name ring any bells? Me having
Give me a history check.
study check.
I'm gonna follow him on the history check.
Studied shit.
Natural 20.
It's going to be a 10.
Igor, you do know that the Steelstead family used to live in the capital. They used to be the people that would build many of the monuments that are there. About 200 years ago, they decided to move out. Not because they weren't wanted, but because they decided they wanted a more humble life. Their natural affinity to work with stone and metal seemed almost unnatural, rivaling many dwarven craftsmen. But not a lot of things in the capital remained at the steel city.
Because
Just because. That's like old.
over time, not necessarily like these guys are out fucking take this down.
And Wolf, you've never heard of the steel city.
Okay, we thank him. I take the key, go over, lock the boxes up.
I got one.
It's alright.
Alright.
As we leave, I like casually whisper like the information told me like, hey, that's someone old family. Blah, blah,
Okay.
blah.
And then now we're gonna jump over to Karina and Joppa.
Alright, so we're on our way down to the.
Just picking up cannons, right?
We're heading down.
That's the
to
shortest part of the story. We're
Yeah.
just picking
So like there are a
Good
couple
cannons,
of
you walk
You
to the
gotta fix
dock.
them and get them working.
there is a
No,
large
like,
galleon
picking up
ship that the
the
cannons are on.
cannons.
It's kind of a museum. As you walk up, a young woman approaches you and she goes, "Apologies, the museum is closed. Right? I have to ask you to come back."
We were sent here by
Celine.
Celine. We were sent down here by Celine to pick up the cannons that are on the galleon to use in a mission out to the lake.
I've not been informed by of this. I can have the cannons. I can prep them for you, but until I can get further confirmation from my supervisor or the mayor herself, or some kind of notified confirmation, I cannot allow you to take them.
You guys
Can
should
you
have
have
let
them
somebody
ready
the
by
new message.
I can have them cleaned up for you by tomorrow, but they are inoperable currently.
Okay, if you can have them clean up and ready, we'll go and get the proper paperwork.
Alright, so do we want to all go meet up by the dock?
We have to now return back to town hall and.
Go back, please.
So as you go back, she is locking up the city hall. It's
I thought we were in a crisis. City Hall doesn't close down for that.
no, city hall closes down at night.
9 to 5.
So
man.
Actually, it's like
They're
6
not
o'clock
made
now.
of money. They got a payroll to manage.
And you wave her down.
Overtime,
She
later on.
looks over. Oh, she kind of she doesn't say anything. She just hands you like what looks like to be some kind of official symbol or emblem. She just nods her head and like, yes, I forgot to give this to you.
Here,
That's
how,
right.
how about that?
Okay, so now we're gonna go.
You go back.
This is the most efficient town yet.
Uh,
I don't know about you, but we went on one trip and picked up 100 explosives. This is very efficient for us.
as you go back, she goes, do you have a manner of proving yourselves and
Yes, Celine had just given us this.
all right. She rolls down, and they're like tied end to end. And it's like 4 cannons. That's it. Just 4 real big cannons.
We'll figure that one out later.
Well, now where was it? If you guys want to meet up, you have to send us.
We don't have message, unfortunately. We just have explosives.
Okay, where are we
Of
meeting
course,
up? Where am
the
I
two people
carrying
with message are already together exploring the friggin' rich part of
Guys,
town.
we didn't
So
set
we
up a
have-
meetup
We
spot.
did not. No.
We're just going right
We are
there.
all over the town.
Fuck it.
This is why you don't split the
Guys.
party. We're walking towards the dock with the boxes of the explosives. Do we want to?
We're down by the dock with the cannons.
Okay, can we run into
Yeah,
them?
you'll run into them
Okay.
almost immediately. Like 15 minutes pass, and you run into Joppa and Karina.
Okay, we run into them. My first line is like, "Oh, hey guys," as we're both carrying. Jess is like, "Don't touch these.
Don't breathe.
Don't breathe too hard.
Just don't touch these, and whatever you do, don't panic."
Well,
Bring
we
it
got
down.
the cannons. You guys are here. You guys have whatever.
Do you want to even know what these are?
I'm not sure if I do.
They're the most efficient moonbeam ever.
It's just it's very explosive. Let's leave it at that.
Maybe we can put them in the cannons.
That's-
That's what I was thinking. We'll load them in the cannons.
We'll get to those.
Now you said you can do a boat.
I'm gonna
Come on, Magic
is,
Man.
Is there an open spot at the dock?
Not at this part of the day.
Magic.
Yep. Give me a perception
You're
check.
a druid.
Nature.
We're just a
16.
60. A couple appears over. There are a couple of openings for
Okay.
a rather small ship.
I just don't care for technology.
Why don't you just crush the ship?
Is there a spot for a commander ship?
Not really.
So how
Okay,
shitty
okay.
would it be if I just untied one of the boats?
I would be willing to help her with that.
I can use my gun to blow air out of that thing, push it away.
Okay, so we're gonna be.
So you're gonna, like,
President.
push someone's. Give me a stealth check first, because there are
Okay.
people still on the docks.
Oh god.
I'm just sitting on the cannons.
Should have just asked me to be there.
Karina, you do manage to get by one of the boats that would give you enough space for a larger boat. Igor, you trip over yourself a couple of times, landing like right next to Karina.
He put the box down
Yeah, put the
first,
box
right?
down.
Okay.
I didn't box out.
I'm just like watching the one box and I got like them both stacked next to me. He's like
watching it
Um,
go up.
As you untie one of the boats, and are you strengthening it away or using Bosnier's rifle?
I was gonna, in conjunction with
That's
anybody who
loud.
wanted to push, I wanted to use Bosnier's rifle to push it.
I'm gonna look
So
over
much
the
for that
cannons.
stealth
and be like,
roll.
you shouldn't do that.
It just blows air.
It's a blunderbuss.
It'll be loud.
I rolled a 2. I don't think I have a choice. I'm just being stealthy.
So are you strengthening, or are you gonna strengthen the
Are the
Bosnier's
sails
rifle?
up or down? They're down. I'm gonna blow some air in those sails.
Okay.
We might actually need that. because
Roll me,
we might
roll
need
me a
that gold
strength
from the
save,
other one to get them out of jail.
and
I'm not doing
Karina,
this.
are you just strengthening the boat
Yeah.
away? Alright, just roll me a strength check.
Oh god.
You should have just waited for me to go.
Okay.
Why are you like this?
Put it halfway across the
Pulled up and
lake.
chucked it.
Igor.
Skims across the lake like a stone.
The thing is, the gun. After
No
doing
one's
it, the
ever
gun
finding
wouldn't
out
have
about
affected it
that.
anyway.
Cleric
We're gonna burn
versus
the other
the
side.
barbarian,
Yeah.
everyone.
Igor, as you point your rifle up towards the sails and you click, nothing happens for a second, and then Karina, just out of your sight, pushes the boat as it starts to move. You go, yes, I did it.
See, guys, I did things. I'm a part of it.
As it starts making waves, as it starts heading inwards towards the lake, as it sails off into the sunset. Not really the sunset, because the
Mitchell, we should
sunset's
have loaded all
into
the
the river.
explosives onto that and
No.
just.
We
do
want,
more.
we want to keep the explosives.
Well, no, I'm just saying we should have put them all in there and set it out as a lure. Whatever grabbed it explodes.
It's not right here.
Okay.
So
So
now we have room.
Now you have room for a
Make
boat. It's approximately 8 o'clock at night, or getting close to.
Can you make it on a gold
Make it
down
out
the corner?
How long do items last for?
They last for up to 8 hours.
How long? Wait, how long? What lasts?
Not items.
It's also
Oh, they don't last forever.
Apparently not.
Okay, we might want to wait on making. them then.
also it is more than an 8-hour trip by boat.
That's problematic.
I'll make another one right before and we'll jump.
I'm trying to afford to go over it.
I didn't know this.
Hold on, because I just want to paint the picture of the logistics for you. We're trying to put cannons, explosive ammunition, and a small crew on this first boat.
Yeah. Sail 7 hours, 55 minutes out. I'll make another one. In those 5 minutes, we transfer everything over and keep going.
TPK ourselves, guys.
Do we want to do that?
It's not my fault. I'm still learning how this magic item works.
Well,
I'll
guys,
go back and get that water-breathing water.
I'm gonna let you guys plan because we're gonna put an end to this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming on this wonderful journey of explosive madness. Guess we got a Facebook page. Roll for it.
Roll for it D&D on Facebook. We've got iTunes. We've got YouTube. We've got Spotify, the easiest one to listen to. Like, rate, review us, please. It actually really helps. If anybody does,
Listen in your
nobody
car,
has
it's good
yet.
for you.
Just once, please.
Please.
So my mother will be proud of us. Anyways, guys, roll for perception, and we hope to see you next time.